welcome to episode 257 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and we are recording the show a little later the following day on a Friday in the afternoon. That's because we had to have Patrice Brend'Amour come back on the show. Hi, Patrice. So glad you're back. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, you can blame me for that. That's totally fine. I'll take it. No, I'm doing good. Been an interesting week, and yeah. We had a public holiday yesterday on Thursday, so that was nice, and I got today off like you did, so that's also cool. Yeah, yes. It's been like I haven't even made it past Tuesday in the videos, so that's how well it's going.
You got a long way to go. But so glad you're here. And Jeff Gamet is back. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing all right. And even though we just not that long ago, all of us got to spend some time together, I'm super happy to be here with everyone.
I am so thrilled to have all of you here, including Ben Rathig. How you doing, Ben?
I am great and just happy to be here, Dave. I almost said Jeff after the Mac show today.
Can you do that, Dave? Can you open the pod bay door?
Yeah. That's right. I don't do that.
I was just thinking of that.
So yes, WWDC 2023. Wow, it was quite an event. 2.5 hours worth of a keynote. Lots of things. Because there's so much things to talk about, we're probably going to keep it streamlined here to focus on one topic. See where we go here. You know, everybody's really buzzing about the Apple's Vision Pro glasses headset, but that's a future product. I know everybody's going to be excited about that, but we talk about iOS here all the time, so why don't we just talk about iOS and see what was released with that? And a number of us here are already running beta on it, and we can get some ideas. But I'd like to just hit some of the topics on that.
I mean, it's in touch with iOS, so why? Like, we should talk about it.
Yes, we should.
That's on brand.
Exactly. I kept it right on brand this week, so we'll hit the topics. Don't worry, you'll be hearing lots more. We got a number of months with beta testing going on and all that fun stuff. So we'll see how that goes. So yes, iOS 17 was announced. It was released to beta testers, developers. For right now, so you've got that to be looking at, and there was just an incredible amount of features that were added to iOS, which I was very happy to see because it's been a long time coming with that when it comes to that stuff. So, but some of the things that I think the top three that were really talked about. The first one is they hit the primary applications, which would be the phone, the messages, and FaceTime. They added 3 new and pretty incredible features. So the first thing I'll talk about is the phone. You can personalize your phone calls now. So I don't know if you've tried that yet, Patrice, on your iPhone, but it's pretty cool that you can actually put like a personalized wallpaper of that person and have really cool change of fonts with names and all that stuff. What did you like so far? I have not played with that yet, but
I've played with it. It's beta. It's pretty buggy.
Yeah, I figured
it looks really beautiful, but it's really buggy. When is the last time we got any updates to the phone app actually on our iPhones?
I can't remember.
It's been a while.
If ever.
Yeah, I think that maybe they changed the buttons from like whatever round to rectangular or vice versa. Like that was probably the last big change. No, but it's really, really cool. I mean, the that you can see like those wallpapers basically on the phone calls, and that you also like. I think live voicemail is really cool. Actually, I got to see it kind of already.
I did. That's what I'm going to share. I did play with it because I happened to have a second line sitting in this camera that's an iPhone XR that I could actually do it for full out demo. I had to try it, so I did. So I made the phone call. I let it go to voicemail, and I started talking, and oh my God, it was coming up on the screen. All you had to do is you had to tap the little voice mail button on the top left on the screen, and it brings it right up. Like it shows, we've got links, of course, of all this in the show notes. Like it shows the picture of that, and it goes through the talking, and then you can either accept it or just let it go and finish the voicemail.
Yeah.
So
and it's really strange at first because what you're used to is, I don't know, there's a phone call and you just don't accept it and that's it. And then all of a sudden you see it actually accepts the phone call. So it's on device. Like it's not something that your carrier does or Apple does or whatever. No, it's on your device. The phone actually accepts the call and then basically does their own voicemail system, which is different than, how it used to be. Which I'm very happy about because, and I don't know if that's an indication of more general problem. I have a feeling that 15 years in, we still don't have visual voicemail everywhere. I mean, my carrier here doesn't have it.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Doesn't have it 15 years in. So, I think that that might be the part of the problem, that the carriers just didn't want to do it or didn't care or whatever. And so Apple was like, okay, fine. If you don't want to do it, then we'll do it for you.
Yeah. No, that's weird because that's been around for quite a while.
That was a first version iPhone thing.
Yeah, exactly. So
that was one of the launch features.
It was. Yeah, for sure. So it works pretty well. I was pretty impressed with how it worked here. So good to see some enhancements there because I think obviously that's a long time coming. I mean, it really was.
Yeah.
Messages, there was some pretty big enhancements. So what I do like is the fact that you have all your apps now in one place. That was always an issue when it came to finding apps. You're always digging around down below the tray there. So I'm not going to go through everything here, but the checking in, letting your friend know you arrived safely, that's what you always end up doing. You text me when you get home. So now you can actually do a check-in, and it actually tells you, so you don't have to do it later. The catch-ups and swipe to reply, I think that's great that you can swipe across and then do the catch-ups. Big one I'm really liking is the search filters because especially you've got long conversations. I have it with my family all the time, long conversations going back and forth, and I got down to the string and I'm not used to it. Where all of a sudden we're getting message after message after message, and you want to find something we talked about. Now you can actually search and be able to find it much easier. The other thing going along with the transcription with the phone, with voicemail, they're also adding the audio message transcription, which I think is great. So now you don't have to play it, especially if you're in a room, you can't play it. You don't want to have to be playing it and listening. So I think they added some of that. Have you tried any of that?
You're sitting on the subway and someone sends you an audio message and you don't have your headphones with you.
Yeah, exactly. So so it's pretty cool to see that. So Jeff, something like this, what do you think? Are you going to think this be something you're going to utilize with the messages?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I haven't started playing with it yet because I've been busy essentially reconstituting my iPad after installing the developer beta.
I'm hoping we're going to fit some time in and we're going to talk about that.
Well, if not, there will be other shows.
Yeah, of course.
But the whole thing with the check-in, like you said, people all the time, it's like, send me a message when you're safe home. And a lot of people ask me to do that. I ask people to do that. When I look at this feature, beyond me having a more convenient way to send that message, I'm looking at this and thinking, man, there's some people at Apple that really get how dangerous day-to-day life is for a big part of our population. And that big part includes women and the LGBTQ plus community. Also people that are not white males.
Yes.
And having a way to be able to let your friends and family know that you're home safely, and if you have deviated from your route, where that happened. So everyone has a place to, as horrible as it sounds, start looking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I have with my girlfriends, we have we do it on WhatsApp because they're Android users. I have to get them on iPhones now. Because of this. But we have a common chat, like a group chat. And whenever we're leaving somewhere, we're basically looking for the safely at home message. Everybody posts it. And it's okay, I'm at home, or I was at home 10 minutes ago or something. It doesn't have to be 100%, but we get that message. And this is a way to do it kind of automatically, which I really like. And also with some extra bits and pieces where it's hey, if you don't arrive in time, I mean, you as the person sharing it can at any time extend it and simply say, hey, whatever, something came up. That's totally fine. But if it doesn't happen, if you, can't be contacted for some reason, then it notifies the others, which is super important.
Mm-hmm.
And the closer you get notified to something happening, the more likely it is that someone can help.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Ben, on the messages? Is it something that it's going to be of value to you?
Being the aforementioned white male, I'm not as likely to use it. Though I might use it just to placate my mom, but
it can be anything. I mean, it can be, you're meeting friends at the party and you want to let them know when you arrive at the party so they know to look for you. Could also work for that, right?
Mm-hmm. That definitely works. Yeah. But backtracking slightly to the phone, I noticed God, my brain doesn't work. One feature, because I received a call during the Mac show today. Voicemails are now shown in line on the recent calls beneath the call they're associated to.
Oh, nice. I didn't even.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I get a lot of calls and a lot of voicemails. As crazy as it sounds, my iPhone works like a phone a lot. And I'm jumping between my recent calls and the voicemail list all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
This makes so much sense.
Oh, totally. No, that's great.
By the way, also the apps part of messages, I think this is one of the things. It started out one way, and I think they intended there would be a couple apps and or a couple things there, and the UI was fine that they had for it, and then they wanted to an app store, and it kind of ballooned from there. They started adding more and more and more features, and more apps added features and so on, and it just became too much. So it's still not great, to be honest. It's better than before because it's not like this little row that you scroll and hope that you find the app. Now it's a big row, but it's still a row. There's no searching or anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's for sure. FaceTime. I think this was a really exciting feature that they added, is the fact that you can record a video message and audio message when someone misses your FaceTime call. It's always the rude message that came out to this person is unavailable, and that's the end of it. Now you actually can leave and record a video message or an audio message if they missed your call, so then you can go back and join back with them within FaceTime instead of it not being a leave a message at all, because it's just calling. Some people, I'm probably a culprit of that, is when I call somebody and they don't answer, I just hang up. So I don't even leave a voicemail, because usually the person's going to call me back because they see I called. So in the case of FaceTime, it's probably the same, but this is a nice way to personalize now that you can give a message if you just want to get a quick message to somebody and actually be on video, which is cool.
And it's a feature that with Vision Pro makes a lot more sense.
Yes, they have that.
Yes. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that.
To be perfectly honest, I would not be surprised if the FaceTime app and the phone app were to merge in the very near future.
You kind of have already, right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they have on the Mac, but...
I mean, even on the phone app on the iPhone, you can start FaceTime calls from there and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I also like is the reactions. So as I said before, if I did this or this, like it would actually do it, and it would actually work or is supposed to work in Zoom, and like not just in FaceTime. So that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah,
you can give a thumbs up and give a thumbs up, and it actually does something on screen.
Like hearts, confetti, fireworks, all kinds of fun balloons.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of fun. The other thing too that is exciting, and we'll talk about audio and home, the later episode. But FaceTime's now going to be on your Apple TV, which I'm pretty stoked about. Being able to start the call directly from your FaceTime app on the Apple TV, and then hand it off from your phone to your TV.
Yeah. Remember, like 20 years ago, maybe, or 15, when we had TVs with like webcams in them, maybe 10 to 15. 20 sounds a lot more. And like you could do Skype calls and stuff. I think there was definitely an episode of Scrubs where they did that. And now we're getting back to that. So that's quite nice.
Yeah. Now that the technology is mature.
Yeah, I mean, the camera, the camera on your phone or your iPad is way better than any webcam.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
And it's mature, but I think more than that actually is the fact that we became more comfortable. We as a society became more comfortable with remote video chats once the pandemic lockdown started. So the idea of sitting on your couch and having a video conversation with someone, I think is much more acceptable than it used to be.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I can see it. Like you're sitting with your family. I don't know one part of the family is in another part of the country, and you're just sitting on your respective couches and just like have a beautiful big screen in front of you and the phone and the Apple TV or the iPad, and that's it. You don't need to fiddle with a Mac or like hold the phone or put the iPad somewhere where everybody can see it, and we have like 7 people in the room and it's kind of not working. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to miss grandma on the 50-inch TV.
Yes. And it's also, quite hard for grandma to be missed on the 50-inch TV with an iPhone in front of it, because the angle is so wide that you're going to catch them. And with, what's it called? Stage? Is that called? Stage Light? No, that's different.
No, not Stage Manager. Not continuity.
Center Stage. Center
Stage.
With Center Stage, it zooms in and stuff, so you don't have to deal with that at all.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about things that weren't talked about before. I'm not going to want to go through the whole list. Anybody can go to the iOS preview here. I thought it'd be some fun things to talk about here and relates to what was not mentioned on stage. And you're right, Patrice. This is we're starting to see a trend here. Some of the things that they've already added to iOS 17, which kind of excites me, is going to have to kind of work in conjunction with the Apple's Vision Pro headset with the AR on this. So one of the things that they did actually, there was a photo here is the fact that if you have a food item as an image, you can actually tap that image and it'll search for similar recipes, which is kind of neat. So they did enhance that. The other thing too is the image cutoff feature, which I thought was great when they brought that in iOS 16. So you can it's so cool. You can just tap an image of somebody and put it right into your message, and that's like a picture of you or you're somebody, and then do that.
You use it as a sticker, really.
Or a sticker. Yeah, exactly. Well, this update now they're going to allow you to look up these objects to find out more information about them. So this case, like a cat, you could actually find out more about that cat or similar breed, like Leo for Ben here. So speaking of
who looks almost exactly like that cat.
Yeah. Speaking of the Photos app, you're now going to be able to recognize your pets and cats and dogs and all that stuff, and puts it in the people section, which I kind of find to be pretty cool. So now you're going to have looking up all the people. It's going to actually show your pets as a person. So they did do some enhancements with the Freeform update. I remember Jeff and I when we started testing that when it first came out on the iPad. But yeah, they're going to be adding some other cool things like water brushing colors, calligraphy pen, highlighter, all that stuff is going to be really a cool thing, and doing real-time collaboration is the other thing that Freeform is going to add as well. Very similar to what I experienced using Microsoft 365 when you're doing real-time collaboration on a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet. This will go to actual drawing what you're doing. I mean, there are other apps out there to do this, but this is great to see what's going to be on an iPhone and probably and an iPad as well. The nudity filter, I thought they I believe they did mention somewhat of that, but this is going to be definitely a nice thing, especially for parents if something comes up and it's going to warn. This could
not
be
just for
sensitive
parents,
for anybody. Yeah, you don't want to be looking
really for anybody. A lot of women like getting the unsolicited ones, but I mean, like
I want to say something, I'm not going to say it, but yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, but even like for you, maybe you're in a work context, and you just don't like. You might have people that send you stuff like that, and you're usually fine with it, but in that situation, you like because you're at work, you just don't want to see that, or others to see it, maybe, and that also makes sense.
Yeah. So
and it works. I mean, it works across the system. That's really cool. Like it's not just in messages or whatever. Like it's anywhere where there's photos coming in.
No, that's great because there are some unfortunate, inappropriate people out there that do those kind of things.
And the Tidbit developers can use that. So there's an API or some sort of kit behind it that developers can also implement in their apps.
That's great. So it's not just Apple. It's going to be any developer. Did you want to add something, Jeff?
To me, this ties back into my whole idea that there are women that are part of the developer process now in a significant way, because my first thought when I saw this was, there's a woman that's really tired of having those unsolicited pics show up on her iPhone, and is in a position to do something about it for herself and her friends and everyone else.
Or has kids.
Or has
that's
kids.
The other option. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's a lot also to, like, I mean, I know that's a trope. Oh, we want to protect kids, but I think in this case, there's some truth to that.
Yeah. And these last couple of features kind of dispel this notion that Apple did not have any AI in the keynote. They had a lot of it. They just called it machine learning.
Right.
And did not focus on an incomplete chatbot.
It was actually more than machine learning. There's like if you watch also the State of the Union, for example, and some of the sessions, there's a lot of AI terms that are flying around that like not necessarily people would recognize.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like Apple doesn't do hypes.
No. This other feature in Mail, I think, is great in the Mail app that it'll have now support for auto-filling one-time verification codes. Oh my gosh, hallelujah that they add to this, because what a pain. I just did it now. I just did it earlier today. I copy it and you can't paste it, and they got to type it in manually. So this is huge. And then the other thing too, which I thought was very go ahead, Patrice. I'll let you go.
You can. There's an option to delete the message after, both in Messages and in Mail. Like you don't have to, but you can.
No, I just wanted to say that because now you can enable.
I missed seeing that.
This is all stuff that wasn't mentioned. You can enable automatic deletion of these emails and messages that include verification codes. So we're always going through and clearing out our messages, cleaning out those notifications. So now this is going to automatically. You could just turn it on and clean up automatically, is where it says on here too. So so of course they're going to add more wallpapers. So we always expect that. I don't need to really talk too much about that. It'll be fun. Apple did introduce a shared playlist feature for Apple Music that you can build a list with your friends. That's kind of fun, and that's you presumably can do that.
Pronouns field. You missed.
I'm sorry. I missed that one. I'm sorry. yes, you now have a pronouns field in your contacts. I'm sorry. I just whizzing through these things so quickly here.
There's so many.
So no, that's great. I'm glad that they did that. So the other thing too is they're going to be add some enhancements in the News Plus app, but also Music. They're going to have a crossfade option that that allows you to crossfade to now playing bar within the app.
The shared playlist is really interesting because it's something people have been asking for a while, that like friends can collaborate on a playlist. And what's more interesting, they integrated that into CarPlay. So if you're in a car and the driver's phone is connected to CarPlay, you can basically, I don't know exactly how it's going to work and how it's going to be secured, that not everybody can do it. But you can basically somehow get invited or added to the list, and then like your kids or whatever can decide what to play and play the same song 10 times if they want to.
Yeah.
I bet it's going to work much like it does on Apple TV, where you get an on-screen code that the person has to enter on their device.
Yeah, probably yes. Yeah.
The sharing playlist feature, they should call it the Spotify feature, because seriously, this is the Spotify feature that I have heard many people say keeps them on Spotify.
But I mean, you could share playlists before. You couldn't,
but not
couldn't
like
collaborate on them.
Yeah, the collaborative part. Yeah, and yes,
I have to tell you,
it'll change.
One of my favorite features on Apple Music is the Friends playlist.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yes, my minor side rant to that. What broke in the last 2 weeks that I can't tell my HomePod to play my friend's playlist? It doesn't work anymore.
That dagnabbit HomePod.
Yeah, so frustrating. Anyhow, okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that shared playlist. I mean, we're friends in the music app, and I like to see what you like to listen to, and vice versa when I have a playlist. So yeah, I think it's fun to do that and to listen to what people are into with the music. The News Plus app, the subscribers will now get a crossword and mini crossword puzzles. Are we Sherlock in the New York Times? I doubt it, but but interesting to see that they've added some enhancements in the News Plus. You also are going to be able to listen to the audio stories through the Apple Podcast app right from there as well. Memojis are so important too, and they got 3 new memojis. I don't know if you've looked at them yet, but Patrice, it's Halo, Smirk, and Peekaboo.
I have to check them out right away.
Yeah, we'll have to see that. The Reminders app, I think this is really cool because this is going to Sherlock a lot of these grocery list apps. Now you have a new grocery list that will automatically categorize items for you for shopping right from in the Reminders app, which is great.
This is probably the feature that will get me to use Reminders. I'll use it only for the grocery list.
Right.
But every grocery list app that I have tried using, the barrier to entry for me is far higher than I want. Like I don't want to have to spend an afternoon entering all of these different items and doing all the categorizing and stuff that you typically have to do. Just let me, as I'm thinking of my list, just start adding the things, and it does the rest of it for me. And it's simple and it's clean. There we go.
Yeah. No, that's what I like, and it definitely looks very simple. This app will also let you change groups and view items in a column, kind of like in a Kanban style format, and that would makes it a little more clean, efficient. Other thing that was great that they announced was the fact that the Find My, now you have item sharing of the Find My, specifically AirTag, because you're in your mom's car and she has an AirTag on the keychain, and then you're like, you have a rogue AirTag. What are you going to do? And why? You should share, especially. I think that comes in handy, sharing with family members, spouse, or whatever. So that's up to 5 people. You could do it too.
Yeah. So I mean, some people like they're sitting in the same car for like a bigger road trip, and then all of a sudden you get notifications. Hey, there's an AirTag with you, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's on my partner's key or something.
Yeah. I have a Hyundai, which everybody should know the problems that have gone on with them in the last year.
Kia too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, they're the same company. I have a AirTag hidden inside the vehicle. I mean, just in case it gets stolen, because it's one of those earlier ones that they're not going to fix.
It's a joke.
So the one feature I have wanted for like a couple of months now is to be able to share the AirTag location with my parents. For one, if it was ever stolen, and two, if something were to say happen to me, they know right where my vehicle is.
Yep.
Yep.
Makes sense. The PDF autofill feature was on the iPad, and that's part of iPadOS 17. That's also coming to iOS as well, which is a welcome thing because sometimes you want to look at a PDF form and want to be able to autofill it right from your iPhone. If those of us who have the iPhone 14 Pro Max, that's always the biggest screen to do it on. But if you've got a smaller screen, that might be a little bit challenged with PDFs. But you still be able to do it. So good way of saving the contact fields and saving the information right from the device. And the Notes app will also allow you to view and mark up PDFs, which I think is great. The Notes app in itself, I think, is getting some huge upgrades here. So this one here, I don't understand why we've never had this until now. Is the multiple timers? Why? How we've not all this time? We've had the timer on iPhone and iPad. We've never been able to do multiple timers until iOS 17.
Did you catch the little thing that Phil said about that? He's like, we live. I think he said something like along the lines of, "Oh, we live in exciting times." Like,
yes, amazing times or something like that.
Yeah. Like he didn't want to say finally.
So because he doesn't want
because everything he says is pre-approved and part of the script.
See, for sure. See what they should have done is bring in The Rock for this announcement.
There you go.
At last, multiple timers have come to iOS.
Yeah. So there you go. You got multiple timers now. And they did enhance the widgets, now having interactive widgets on both iPad and iPhone on iOS, and as well as iPadOS. So that will help you control music or mark a task done without having to open up an app right from the widget. Health app, they're bringing the health app to iPad, so we'll just kind of mention that here, as well as in iOS 17. We'll be able to provide you a summary of your friends' workout achievements, like streaks and awards. So you'll actually get a summary right from the health app, which is kind of cool. You will be able to create custom plans for meditation and workouts under Apple Fitness Plus. That's something that Patrice was enhanced. Looks like for that, which can be great.
The health features in iPadOS in general are quite nice. Like I'm very happy, and I have a small group of people that I share like fitness stuff with, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Apple will allow you to sign into your iPhone using a nearby device or a phone number or email ID listed under your account. So that's kind of cool. You don't have to put your Apple ID. And nothing like people who never remember their Apple IDs. I don't get that ever because I lost my phone. Did you use Find My? Do you know your Apple ID? No.
No.
I know my Apple ID, but it's still like a hassle to
but it's still hassle. I just bring that up as part of as a pile on to a hassle as it is. So this is going to give a little bit easier a way to do this. I like this. The Spotlight search will now allow you to toggle system settings like Wi-Fi directly from the search screen. Because always you had to go into settings, got to dig through, get to the Wi-Fi, and then turn it on or off. And it actually is going to show up in a Siri suggestion that does the search screen here. So that's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Or go to Control Center, do it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. This kind of goes with the multiple timers in the why has this not been done before category.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
A couple of non so important things, but interesting. The AirPods, the AirPods always, whenever they pop up on the screen, they're always white. And if you're in dark mode, it's like, whoa. So now it'll also be in dark mode. What a concept. And then the new unmute action that you can trigger by holding the stem in on iOS 17. They'll add that.
And it's configurable. So that's something you can, I think the mute, one of them you can change, but the other one you can. Right. I don't remember which way.
And then, even though most of us here use Carrot Weather, this isn't important for weather. Okay, they added the previous day's weather. Okay. Is that how important that is?
That's cool.
I guess it's nice.
Depending on where you are, it can actually be really important at times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a farmer, for example, it might be interesting to say, oh, did it rain yesterday? Like, I don't remember. Like, can I harvest today? Did it rain yesterday?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah. How about the roads today in the winter? Did it snow a lot yesterday? I don't remember. I'm in Colorado.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about CarPlay. They didn't talk anything about it at all, but there is some enhancements that are happening. I think this is great. The one of it is EV charging support and SharePlay coming to CarPlay, which is interesting. On Apple Maps, you'll actually get real-time EV charging station data, so that for those who have EVs, so I think that's going to be pretty great that you'll have that right there.
Also a case of finally.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Finally.
I mean, finally. Others have had that 5 years ago or so, probably longer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then SharePlay is coming to CarPlay, which so you can actually do with music. Of course, this is going to be audio only, not video. You want which person's going to control the music by putting it through the speakers, and then you have drivers who have to concentrate on the road. They can really go through it now. SharePlay will be connected to CarPlay, so now that person that's sitting in the passenger seat or the back seat can control sound. I think that's good.
And you don't have to hand your unlocked iPhone to your passenger anymore.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, that too. So, and then of course, there's, as they announced last year in 2022 that CarPlay was going to go in a significant overhaul in the future. Well, that transition is still a little bit of ways off because you got to get vehicles that are going to buy into not GM that is going to have going to have a full immersed screen in a vehicle. I'm looking forward to that. I like to see where that goes.
I think they said last year it would be the fall this year, but I'm sure not.
Yeah, so I'd be curious to see where that goes and where it has it in place here. So it's definitely going to be add more stuff here with these new things. It's endless, and developers are already going to discover where things are when it comes to where it comes to that. So other things that were talked about during that were in the keynote, standby. I thought that was an interesting thing that you actually, and I actually want that stand that they had that's in the demo. They haven't talked about what that is yet.
Someone on Mastodon, maybe it was Kelly Gaumond, posted exactly what the stand that is. You can buy it. Like, this is commercially available from a third party. Like, it's not Apple.
If you don't know what standby is, it allows you to put your iPhone on its side charging and on using the MagSafe connector, and it basically becomes the same nightstand mode that the Apple Watch has. So, but it's even more
desk
mode, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, like a widget. So, but there's some really good looking things it shows. It'll show the time and show if you're playing music. It goes through a picture library on your iPhone. Yeah. Brings up a calendar. So I think there's going to be some new full screen experience. This is
Mark my words. Maybe this year. I guess this year we will see a HomePod with a display, with like kind of an iPad or something built in, or an iPhone built in, or whatever it is, and this is how it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Or an iPad mini with some kind of MagSafe on it.
Could also be,
I can see that. Now we've got the Vision Pro. They're really going to be looking at enhancing some of the other products. The AirDrop swapping numbers, that was a long time coming, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know why it took this long to get that. So
I filed that as a feedback a couple of years ago. I said because coming from that must have been pre-pandemic, because conferences, probably after WWDC 2019, I said would be really helpful if there was a way. I said in the wallet app, so this is way better. Mm-hmm. You could exchange your business card basically,
right?
And this is it.
So this is the Patrice feature.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe someone else had the same idea.
They listened to you. That's what happened.
Let's go with it's the Patrice feature.
But I get my game porting kit. Patrice gets her business cards.
Yeah, now that I don't need them anymore.
Yeah, of course. If I didn't mention, that's called name drop. So as for someone, so you're transferring your name. So, also with AirDrop, that you are now going to be able to initiate AirDrop by being close to somebody, but now you can step away, and later this year they're going to actually have it so it finishes over the transfer over the internet. Which I think that's kind of cool.
This is so smart.
Yeah,
I mean, I have done AirDrop with a lot of people. Like I'm at some event, and I have photos they need. They should have the full resolution versions. Don't text them because they get compressed. So you AirDrop, and then I have to walk them through being able to accept AirDrop images from me.
Mm-hmm. And then you have to wait for them to finish and all. Mm-hmm. So Jeff, what you're saying is you're the person who sends unsolicited images on airplanes?
Mine are always solicited.
Okay, good. But that's a good feature.
Yeah. Yes.
Too funny. Let's talk a little bit about support. iOS 17 is going to be at the end of the line is the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 10. So and it was due. I mean, both of those iPhones are, what is it, 6 to 8 years old at this point. Mm-hmm. So maybe the 10 might be a little newer, but so it starts at the 10S, the 10S Max, and the 10R, which is great. They kept that phone in place, and then going on up to the current models. So that's important.
That means other than the SE, there is no phone with a home button anymore.
A home button anymore, right?
That you have to support. Yeah, the SE is I think the new SE is the only one.
Yeah, it's
so that's good for developers. Like we can finally phase out all of that old, the old interface sizes
on the iPad yet.
No, not on the iPad, but I mean on the phone. Like it's not just the home button; it's also like the screen sizes and everything.
Oh right, yep.
So very slowly, it's gonna take a couple of years still, but very slowly we can do that.
Yeah. So. It looks like we did pace this well. At least I paced this well for iOS. So we have a little bit extra time here to talk about iPadOS. And I think the first thing I want to talk about is Jeff's experience with upgrading on his non-critical iPad. Mm-hmm. What you experienced with that? If you can share us your insights.
All right. Well, let me start this off by saying I am not complaining at all. I understand what beta really means for software, and I understand that developer beta 1 oftentimes is almost synonymous with late alpha. So anyhow, what happened was I did the OS update from iOS 16 to developer beta 1. iPadOS 17, and the process went super smooth, no problems. My iPad boots back up, and my home screen is almost completely empty.
Yikes.
There are, and so what I'm seeing are a small handful of the apps that are pre-installed or just part of the core installation. Mm-hmm. Those happen to be the apps that were on my home screen. As I start flipping through multiple screens, I start finding the other core install apps where on whatever screen I had them. If they were in a folder, that folder's still there. And so it's like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then I discovered that my secure enclave had been wiped. So I had to redo Touch ID. And that process was really janky. So what I did when I went into the Touch ID thing, I did what I've done many times before on devices where Touch ID is just turned off for logging in. I just tap the little button to turn it back on for when you're logging into your device. At which point it starts the scanning process for your fingerprint. And at the end of the process, then you're just done and it's set up, which is a smart way to do it because you don't have to think about, do I need to set all this up first and then go turn the feature on? It just knows what you want to do. The problem was when I did it that way, it would get through the first round of fingerprint scanning and tell me it was done. And so then when I tap continue, it's just over and there's no fingerprint set up. So what I had to do was start by adding a fingerprint, setting it up, and once it was set up, then I could turn on unlock with fingerprint. So weird bug.
Yeah,
and
strange.
And having all of my third-party apps, also including Apple apps that are not installed by default, all of that stuff just disappearing and having to reinstall stuff. This is why I installed this on a non-critical device so that if something went wrong, I wouldn't be screwed. And it went wrong to a degree. I'm not screwed. And at the same time, I know there's a lot of people that were able to get through the whole upgrade process without any incident at all. This is a beta.
Yes.
Stuff like this can happen. It's just a beta.
Right. Yeah.
But it's running fine it's on my 10.5 inch iPad Pro. Totally running fine.
Yep.
And I'm getting apps that I want to try out and test reinstalled. But yeah, it was a surprise to see all this stuff just nuked.
Yeah, I installed it on the iPad 2018, the 12.9 inch iPad, and it actually went installed fine. So it just seems like this is an unfortunate experience for you.
Yeah, which I think is also the last version that iPad will get.
I'm pretty sure that, for the 10.5 inch iPad, iPadOS 17 is the end of the line for it.
Yeah, for me, it worked just fine. I mean, I also do the same thing. I install it on the iPad first because if it breaks, then I'm like,
right.
Who cares? I mean, there's for sure bugs and stuff, but overall, it's working fine.
Yeah. So got a little bit of time here. Let's talk a little bit about iPad. The iPad wasn't as eventful, which is kind of sad, honestly. I think because they did some seriously great enhancements on iOS, but on iPadOS, you can finally personalize your lock screen. Okay,
yay! What we got on the iPhone last year.
We've had on the iPhone last year. Exactly. And the widgets on your lock screen. Okay, and the interactive widgets and all the other stuff is pretty much the same you have on your iPhone. Is on your iPad now as well. So of course they add all that same stuff in the same place. If you're looking at the show notes or at the link, it's the same exact stuff there as it is in iOS. So, but anything else notable, Patrice or Ben? Do you think it's just?
I think at this point it is very, very clear that the iPad is not going to. I mean, that's my personal view on it. The iPad is not going to survive long term. I think with the Vision Pro, it's going to get replaced because the Mac is the Mac and it does its thing. The Vision Pro kind of replaces the whole AR, VR and doing things when you're like out and about and having a big screen or whatever. So what's the iPad for? And I think Apple knew that because, I mean, for the last couple of years, they've updated it. It's not completely abandoned. They didn't just stop it, but they're kind of just, for sure, iPhone is the important platform for them. And then everything that they do on iPhone, or most things that they do on iPhone, they do on the iPad, or do on the iPad a year later, and that's it. There's no unique feature on the iPad, really.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, that's what I say. It's with Vision Pro coming. I think I kind of agree with you. Do you guys agree with that?
I hadn't thought about it from the perspective of seeing Vision Pro is an indicator that iPad is a short-term product. And when I say short-term, I don't mean like it's going to disappear next year, but its life cycle is going to end before the iPhones does. And so, but Patrice, now that you're saying that, yes, I can see that.
And when I said no features, I mean, that's not 100% true. There were some like small improvements, like the flexible layout on Stage Manager is one, and like some improvements to like drawing and so on. Like there's small stuff, and the health app for sure. There's small stuff, but it's mostly catching up with. I mean, the Stage Manager stuff that's for Vision OS, and they just added it.
Yeah. Well, and and iPad apps will run on Vision OS.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's true. I mean, that's the biggest indicator for we're basically doing that.
Yeah, for sure. I said not too eventful with the iPad. As far as compatibility goes, you have the iPad Mini 5th gen and later is compatible. The iPad 6th gen and later. The Air is 3rd gen and later. The iPad Pro will be all models except the 1st gen 12.9 inch. So all the Pro models except that. I just gave that old 1st gen to my mom, so that one's end of life. I knew that was coming, so she'll be fine learning on 16 for it. And it'll still be a perfectly good device on there for a while. So no surprise there. So the AirPods did get some enhancements. I thought was interesting. This is the adaptive audio, personalized volume, and conversation awareness. And all the AirPods are going to gain some improvements as far as making calls and automatically switching. Oh my God, that's been the biggest pain in my butt. Is of automatic switching, and always you lift up your iPhone, you're looking at it. I have it connected to my Mac right now. We're doing a podcast. I worry that it's going to disconnect me. I better keep it away from here. Turn it off. Now, they're finally have become aware that's coming. But this
a feature to go along with that, I would love to see. I'm totally interrupting. I apologize.
Go. Yes.
Why can't I set a default favored device for my AirPods?
Exactly.
I want it to default to my iPhone first, period. And I mean, like I'll be in the living room and I'll put my AirPods in and I hear the chime. They're connected. They connected to the Mac in the office. Let me set the default for first preference.
Yeah. Or better yet, use the GPS in the device to show you exactly where the device is in the house and connect to the one nearest to you.
That would be okay. Well, actually, my iPhone and my Mac are on my desk. My iPhone is technically farther away from me right now.
Yeah, this is true.
Technically, yeah.
But still, I mean, giving me control, like based on location, based on device preference, give me some way to control what it connects to first.
By the way, I mean, I'm Miss Beta. I have betas everywhere. I have a beta of the iPhone. I have the AirPod software. I don't know if it's installed yet, but I activated it. So
I was going to mention that this is the first time you actually can install. I have this in the show notes too, that you can actually install the beta firmware on it without you having to figure out when it's going to install. But like you said,
you still don't know that.
You still don't know when it's going to install. That's the thing, right?
They tell you within 24 hours. Like after activating it, within 24 hours. That's all they tell you. Okay. And it was actually super. Like that was one of the surprising things. Like there were like 7 steps in like what you have to do. And when I looked at it, I realized that 6 out of 7 I'd already done. So the only thing I had to do was go into the developer settings on your iPhone and enable it, and that was it. Because the whole thing of setting up your phone as a developer device and with Xcode and all of that, already done. Because I need that. So
Patrice, that I'm with you. That was pretty awesome. Interesting thing for me with my iPad was that it was not giving me the toggle for developer. Mm-hmm. And what I had to do to get it to show up was reconnect my iPad to my Mac, launch Xcode.
Yes, that's usually what you have to do to enable it.
But the thing is, this has happened multiple times. So why hadn't it enabled before? Anyhow,
strange.
So I guess a better way to say it is, don't forget, people, if you want to see the developer toggle that you have to enable, you better connect your iPad or iPhone to your Mac with Xcode running so it can make that start showing for you.
And you need a developer profile.
And you need
not
a
just
developer
everybody
profile.
Can do it.
Yep.
Although they did change that now. You can actually have a developer account, not have to pay for it. And there's a free developer account that you can have, not the public beta. And but you're limited what you could do. But
but for a lot of people, that's enough.
Yeah, for testing betas and stuff, I mean, that's good enough.
That was great, Apple.
I mean, a lot of people sign up for, I think Apple realized a lot of people sign up for it and then just never use it.
No, that was great. They opened it back up. Did you ever?
And also a lot of it's the journalism community, so that's one less step.
That's true. They don't have to pay for it.
That's so true. Yeah, they've made it super easy, which is a good thing and a bad thing for people to be in the betas. I mean, literally, I'd introduced that with iOS 16. This year, all you had to do is go into your settings. There's this beta menu, and it was like for me set on iOS 16 beta, for example, or macOS, whatever, Ventura beta. And you just switch it to the new version. Like there's literally a new item that shows up that says iOS 17 beta, and you tap that.
That was really cool, just seeing that show up.
Yeah, not like before where you had to restore your phone or install later on it was at least a profile, but like it was still very hard to do that even for developers sometimes.
Yeah, no, for sure. So it's good to see. I mean, Apple is really, I'm saying they were so restrictive of being able to do beta. And when those all the years we've paid for having a developer account, I've never developed an app, but I still buy it. I paid it anyway because it was important to me. Because I wanted the developer access. I didn't want to wait on the public beta. So, what the heck? But Apple had NDAs. You couldn't talk about what the beta shows, but now it's like it's wide open.
Ignored.
Everybody ignored anyway because you talk about it. You YouTubers will be publishing stuff the next day after it's released. But I think Apple's finally come to realize that, hey, let's just let it go. I mean, people need
they have no control.
Anyway, you can't control it, and there's no way to keep it secret. And I mean, they kept this Vision Pro secret, so they did a good job with that. So, and we're definitely going to talk about that probably next week to hit on that because we're getting close to time here. So, but it's good to see that the beta is going to be easier to access. But again, don't do it.
Yeah.
I say that on the show every time. We just don't install beta unless you really want to be in trouble for your primary device, because you're gonna live on that edge, and you don't want to do that. I think everybody here on this panel will agree with me on that.
Yes. Yep. We do it because we know the risks, and we are idiots.
Yeah, but we also take appropriate precautions.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I'm an idiot because I keep extra money and buy and keep older devices. So
yeah, I do that even for work. I mean, when I say I miss beta, I mean that. I do that even for work. I mean, we have an IT department who's supposed to like check like OS releases and like let us know if they work, but they never do. That's so I do it because if it breaks, I know how to handle it. Right. A lot of other people in a company don't. So it's better if I see it early and then can inform the right people and say, hey, like, let's hold that back or whatever, or inform Apple or Microsoft or whoever of an issue, instead of like it breaking on everybody.
Yep, absolutely. So All right, we made it through an hour, and everybody was worried that we were going to have enough, and we actually got to touch on some topics that we didn't expect to, so it was great. But before we go, I want to make sure I tell everybody about MacStock. MacStock 7 is here. Tickets are still available. It's only about, I think it's like 5 weeks away. Is it crazy? I mean, oh my gosh, I believe it's I think it's 42 days left until the MacStock. So we're not, as we record this. So we're going to get to see our friends, including Jeff Gamet. I will be there speaking, of course, and Chuck Joyner, Allison Sheridan. Check out the latest Road to MacStock on Mac Voices. Jill McKinley was just interviewed, and she's a very interesting gal. And I think so. We're gonna have some really good. She's new. This will be a first time speaker, so we'll make fast friends when you come to the conference. So it's July 22nd, 23rd, and we were supposed to have Barry Falcon today. He was unable to make it, but he's also going to have the Midwest Back Mac barbecue, so you can come to his house. There's all the links on there with MacStock conference.expo.com, and come join us. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to have a blast. So come check that out. But with that, let's go ahead and wrap up for this week. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Mastodon and Twitter at In Touch with iOS. Support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We would really appreciate it. You can also become a Patreon of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. You have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we are live streaming. Usually it's on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Today we were on Friday just because we had to have Patrice on the show. We love having her. So you can listen to past streams as well as live video streams as well as past shows. Visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard for many of the topics we discussed are flipped into that magazine. The link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to the show on your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, and many others. But better yet, go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsberg, and you can find me all over on the socials at DaveG65, Mastodon, Twitter, you name it. I'm out there. But Patrice, Brend'Amour, thank you so much for being here. Where can people find you?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm like, it was a big pleasure to be here, and thank you for moving the show for me. So
absolutely,
I could make a good join. Yeah, you can find me on the British Tech Network with these lovely faces every week, twice, once on the Mac Show on Fridays, so that's the Apple part, and with Jeff and Ben also on Thursdays for the big show where we talk about the non-Apple side of tech, like chip manufacturing and space and gaming and Android and Windows and like cars and you name it, like anything that is not Apple basically. So that's a lot of fun. You can find out everything I am doing, the podcast, the projects, the social media links, like literally everything on my website, thepatrice.com, because there's only one. At some point I will get patrice.com. There's someone like keeping that domain and not using it, so maybe eventually I'll get it.
They got my name too.
And yeah, exactly. It's sometimes really annoying. If you're into Mastodon and you are looking for a friendly instance, like a small one, if you know me or one of us, you can join our instance techhangout.social and you will get an invite from us. Just reach out and we'll provide. So this is an exclusive club. I'm just saying you need an invite to come in.
She does a great job managing it too, because there was a bit of an outage and she was like right on it and fixed it in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, something broke and I fixed it right away.
Yes, so check it out. Mastodon's awesome. Jeff Gamet, as always, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Well, as always, thanks for letting me back on the show. Yeah. It's always loads of fun. Okay, where can people find me? Social media, Jay Gamet on basically everything. And right now, I'm active on Mastodon and Instagram. Then for shows, Chuck Joyner lets me on Mac Voices Live. So I get to hang out with you and Ben there on Tuesdays. Then off to Thursdays on the British Tech Network, the big show, and then typically Thursday evenings, but I guess today it's now on a Friday for today. Dave lets me on In Touch with iOS, and then Friday mornings back to the British Tech Network for the Mac show, and also for the Context Machine, which, by the way, everyone, Patrice is going to be doing the show with me this week.
Awesome.
Let's see what we will talk about.
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. And Ben, last but not least, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on social media at Ben Rathig on your social media of choice. My website, that's the old one. My new website, rathig.tech, where I will be having a brand new article in the next couple hours. And lastly, everywhere Jeff said, except for the Context Machine.
Oh, thanks for being here.
This is the only way Ben and I have been able to prove that we're not actually the same person. We have to be on shows together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Well, thanks for Ben for being here. We appreciate it. And we appreciate you for listening. We got lots more WWDC coverage coming up over the next few weeks. That was just a small portion. We'll be talking a lot more in the weeks to follow here. But until then, thanks for listening, and we'll talk again soon.